All right, guys. Well, so this week we have our one and only Danielle King, the president of Los Angeles Urban League of Young Professionals. Thanks for being on. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, good. So we just spent some really good time just rapping and talking about all kinds of different stuff. So I'm just glad that I'm excited because I know we're going to have a lot to share. We may not get to talk about everything, but the purpose of this, I always talk about this podcast, is, you know, an access for people to hear about excellence and success, but specific to the young minority, Blacks, of course, we are Latinos, so other minorities, navigating through life in their 20s and early 30s.
Awesome.
So, and this is great. You're an example to me of that. She's like, oh, gee, thanks. Stop gassing me. Actually, keep going.
No,
keep going.
Please.
No, thanks once again for being on. Tell me about, for those who actually don't even know about the LA Urban League.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Perfect. So the LA Urban League Young Professionals is an auxiliary of the LA Urban League. So when individuals, I feel, think of Urban League, they think of jobs, sustainability, as well as education, and just something that their grandmothers was a part of, right? But the young professional.
Wait, do people really say that? Or that's the image? I never thought of it like that.
You did? Well, that's wonderful. Because, in Oklahoma, the Urban League is well known for being like thriving back when grandmama and them was, living their best lives. So the Young Professionals Auxiliary was established specifically for 21 through 39, but I mean, that varies, just somewhere along those lines of young people and professionals to make LA great, whether that be through the entertainment industry, whether that be through community service, professional development, just whatever you think of when you think of a young professional in Los Angeles, we try to cater to. Right. So we have events, networking opportunities, community service opportunities. We have national initiatives that we host to make sure that we try to cover all of Los Angeles with what we do.
Yeah. Wow. And you joined, because we were talking off camera about the fact that you moved out here.
Yes.
And you were a part of it in Oklahoma City.
Not Oklahoma City.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. In Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh,
yes,
my
I'm
bad.
from Oklahoma
in Phoenix,
City.
But you're from Oklahoma.
Yes.
That's
So you got to know you're good. Yes.
So you're part of it in Phoenix. And then you came out here to LA.
Yes.
And then you were looking for it.
Yes, because I know it's everywhere.
Right. And then, so you ended up joining here, but not only doing that, but right away, like becoming involved.
Yes.
Like taking up a role with leadership. Yes. And I just think that's so important, leadership, because to me, from hearing your story on how you did that, you are someone who, if I'm going to be in a space, I'm going to add value.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit more about that, like that mindset, because to me, that's a success mind. That's a powerful mindset to have. Anybody who's successful, it's because they live that.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
So tell me about that.
I mean, basically, an individual who points out a problem but does absolutely nothing to at least attempt to solve it or try to solve it is simply complaining. And we know complaining does nothing, right? So with me, once I moved out here and I went to the Urban League meeting and saw that there were vacancies in different chair positions, I didn't just say, oh, pity. I was like, well, what can I do to assist? And I saw that the community service chair opportunity was available, and I'm big in community service. From Big Brothers Big Sisters to Teach for America, which is not community service, but it's a part of AmeriCorps, which is big on community service. So anything that I can do to serve, I'm happy to do. So once I saw that that was an opportunity in the Urban League with Los Angeles and the Young Professionals, I decided to apply. And from there, just helping out with opportunities. And soon after their was an opportunity to run for presidency, and I decided to do it, and I was elected in July, and we've been doing some great stuff. So.
Good, congratulations!
Thank
you did
you.
that. So I gotta
So
ask
nice.
you too, and in Phoenix though, how were you? How would you say you were involved? Like, were you in a role? Or
Oh my
position?
gosh! So everyone is so involved with the Phoenix chapter. So it's Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals, and it's live, all the way
Really?
live. Like, there was no vacancies, and when I applied to be the community service chair, I was not accepted. So yeah, they were like, okay, you cute, but no thank you. And so to move out here, I moved out here for something completely different, but once I got settled and situated, I joined the Los Angeles chapter. And once I was appointed community service, I was just like, I'm so glad I get to finally help, because when I was involved in Phoenix, I was a general member, so I was still able to volunteer and help with their initiatives, but not at the leadership role, which was completely fine. I was just glad it was filled.
Right.
But since there was a vacancy here, I'm just like, all right,
That's
my moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how I got involved.
Yeah, you just made me think about something. I wish I remembered the book this existed, by the way, and I'm just speaking towards how by sometimes moving sideways actually helps you move forward faster than if you were to stick to like the lane that you're in. And we're going a little off topic here, and I just wanted to bring this. Like, for those of you, if you're listening right now and you're in a position where you want to climb up some sort of ladder or something like that. What you just did, I don't think you realize that there's a science to that, what you just did. And you did it unintentionally.
You know, you're the nurse, so come on, tell me science.
No, I'm just, it's just, you're just moving laterally. Okay. But moving lateral equals, a lot of times it helps you move faster. Let's say, for example, we have, we have people who, the governor, for example, the governor of California, we have people who move up the ranks. They try to be mayor, or they try to move up the ranks in politics, in positions. But then you have someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger who he's never done anything in politics. But because he's reached a certain level in something else, he moves sideways to something in, let's say, politics, and now he can reach this type of level of position. And I feel like that's what you've been able to do.
Momentum. I kept it going.
Yeah, you kept it going. But I would say if you had stayed in Phoenix, though, it would have been a little different of a situation.
Oh, so you mean actually physically moving out here was my moving laterally?
Yeah, and not that was a goal anyway.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a goal anyway, right?
Okay.
But it's kind of the same thing where I know, for example, if I'm in a position and there's some sort of bottleneck, or I'm trying to move up in something, in a career or in a business, and I notice that there's some resistance. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
I've noticed that there's a lot of people who unintentionally, they may move cities, or they may pivot and do it in a slightly different way. Or, they just change what it is that they're doing or how they're doing it. And all of a sudden they get farther than they thought was possible. So it's just a little success principle that I wanted to share to the listeners. And that's what you managed to do. But I do want to, now that I'm listening to what you're saying, it's like, for me, what's ringing is leadership.
Okay.
So for leadership, because you guys just had the December event.
Yes.
And I was asking you about it. You were like, yo, it was popping.
You missed out.
I missed out because I wanted to go.
You missed a great event.
but you also talked about how when you first, like, by the time you became president, the numbers you would say were, how would you describe it? They were on a decline. Like the numbers of the people that were committed.
Individuals who are committed to the organization with coming to our general body meetings that are every third Thursday. As I was involved, and once the months continued on, I saw that there wasn't a consistent number of attendance. So the numbers seemed to get lower and lower. And whatever the case may be, people were traveling, people have families, whatever the case, there was no consistency in attendance with the general body meeting. So once Brandon Carter, who's the vice president, and myself were elected, okay, so we need to strategize. We want to make sure that this organization is the best it can be, with us being in the leadership position. And so one of the things that really helped us this year, I would say, is ensuring that we were out and making sure that we were doing an event, socializing, networking, community service every month. We have our general body meetings once a month, but on top of that, we would have some sort of event to, I guess, let individuals test the water to see if they were really about the Urban League Young Professionals, because our general body meetings, although they're relaxed and you do not have to be a member to attend, a lot of people are turned off by thinking that they're going to a meeting to just sit and hear about whatever is going on. So we like to have events off site to let people get a feel for us.
Right.
And so what you were talking about was our event. So it was LAULYP, which is our acronym. So it's LAULYP presents Cashmere and Cocktails, a holiday party.
That's what I saw.
Right?
That's
oh
what I
my
saw.
gosh. And that was Kaylin Sims and Bev. They, that's the special events committee chair and co-chair, and they just created this phenomenal event where young professionals can enjoy themselves. And it was a holiday party. It was forgive me for not remembering the date. It was a Friday in December, right before people took off for holidays. So a lot of individuals who are not from here leave around the 21st or right before all of the holidays. So we had it, I want to say 2 Fridays before, or even a Friday before maybe, and everyone was still here, and we had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was live. It was live.
You weren't there.
I'm glad I missed out.
You glad?
I regret that I missed out.
Yeah,
so.
don't.
Is that what I meant to say though? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I looked it up on Eventbrite. I had no idea what it was. And I saw it. And I was like, yo, this seems pretty cool.
And before you knew that I was coming on, like that's how the universe works. But you were like, let me.
That's wild.
It came up on Eventbrite because we had the hashtags and we had something to do in LA, and it came on your feed. You did not come. But then you realized that I was a part of that organization. You're like, oh, I should have gone.
I was like, dang. No, but that's really, really cool. That's really cool. So I know that you're you're involved as a president. You're making things happen. You're growing things
with the team.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Making things happen and with the team. And I gotta say this. Like, I understand from leadership that, this conversation is just going to be about leadership. So I understand about leadership that you're like the heart, you're the heartbeat, you're the engine. Normally the leader is that. Now you have the supporting team, but then they're feeding off of your energy. How would you say that you've had to rise to the occasion in terms of your energy to support the growth that you had this last year so far?
That's a wonderful question. I have had to be extremely flexible with becoming a part of the social scene. So I have come to realize Los Angeles is as glamorous as it seems on TV.
Oh, is it?
From my understanding, from not being here, you're from here, so you're just like, oh, it's whatever. Yeah. But a lot of people that I've come in contact with are not from here and are amazed by just the opportunities that downtown Los Angeles alone has with all types of stuff, right? So with me, I had to get really comfortable with doing stuff like that. I'm a homebody. I like being in by 9 o'clock. I am so to myself. But being the president of this organization that's not a social group, but is extremely social, I've had to put my face on and like go to these networking opportunities that have me out until 11, and then I have to drive to Ontario, so I don't get home sometimes till 12 or 1.
Because it's like an hour away from.
Yeah, from where I stay.
Around an hour, yeah.
So yeah, this is like the place to be. And so just being flexible and stepping outside of my comfort zone. And a great example of that is once Brandon and I were elected and we appointed our committee chairs, we threw a beach bonfire to celebrate. And I'm not a fan of outside. I don't like the beach. I could live without not
being at the beach at all.
Easily. And I know that people listening, especially the ones not in California, like I would kill to have,
right.
Especially, coming from Oklahoma, there was no means of large body of water. And I was fine with that. Okay. Right. So I, being the early riser and being president, had to get up at 5 a.m. I was on the beach by 6 a.m. to secure our plot because, I'm so sorry, I don't know if you know, but we were at Dockweiler Beach and they have the pits. You have to go yourself. There's no reservation system put in place. It's just first come, first serve. Mm-hmm. And so I got to the beach at 6 a.m. and there were already individuals at pits, right? Yep. Okay, so that was my first time at Dockweiler. I never had to stand watch for anything. So I get there at 6 and the event started, I want to say at 7 p.m. So I was at the beach that entire day.
Wow.
Until individuals started to show up. And I think Brandon got there around, I want to say like 9 or 10 a.m. So then I was relieved to go pick up grills and everything else. So I'm doing runs for the actual bonfire. So I'm out and about for it. And I think I got situated and settled at 5 p.m. And then I was at the beach until like midnight. And not liking outside and not being a late night individual. I was just like, oh yeah, just know I love y'all. It was a day for me. Like I by 8, like my energy was depleted, and I'm like, Danielle, don't look like how you feel, because people gonna think you stink, and you're gonna have an attitude look on your face. I'm like, and you president.
Wow, you have to manage.
Are you having fun? Can I get you marshmallows? You want to roast this? And so, like, I'm always in service mode, but it was a long day.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. I don't want to do it again.
I know.
Well, that was before Bev and Kaylin came on. So now that we have a special events committee chair and co-chair, they handle all the social stuff. I just pop up, hey, how's that? You good? I'll just pop up on the screen now.
Right.
So that's great.
But at one point in time, though, you had to be the one to do it.
Yes. There was some time where it was just Brandon and I. And
that's it.
Jasmine, who's our event chair, and Ian, who's our professional development chair, they were on the team before Brandon and I were elected. And so they re-signed their commitment form. So we had some individuals to help us from the past leadership team. Right. But yeah, I don't want to miss anyone. And then Daniel, our treasurer, he's been with us for a while, but it was a small team. Right now we're 13 strong. So we went from like 4 or 5, and now with everything being filled, we just filled our last position, our fund development chair, Wes. Love Wes. We're good. We're golden. We're there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I just want you to know that this is all happening because they see you guys' commitment.
Wonderful.
And oftentimes, that's what it is. This is commitment. When people see that, I heard this really cool saying. I was at an event, and I heard a really cool saying. They say, if you're in a car, your car breaks down. Mm-hmm. Someone whose car breaks down and they're in the car, they're rarely going to ever get somebody who stops to help. Mm-hmm. But now when they see that same person by himself pushing the car that's in the middle of the road, you'll have people get out.
I've seen it.
You have people get out and come help you.
That's real.
And it's real. And it's like when you show your commitment, only then I really believe people are willing to help you, only because you're showing your commitment to that, which is really cool. And it's just, what I'm seeing is reflecting in the situation. Okay. So since your journey so far with this in general, with LA and the success that you've had right now with your growth, what would you say is something that's missing? Like, what's something that people need to know that they're missing? that if they got it, if they understood it, it would make a big difference in their life.
This is just in general.
I'll say in general.
Okay, not necessarily tied to...
Right,
okay.
right. It's in general. It's like a life thing.
Gotcha. I wanted to make sure I understood the question properly before I answered. I would say don't let change threaten you, and listen to your intuition when you know it's time to change or jump ship or whatever the case. And so in Phoenix, when it was time for me to go, I knew, and I ignored it. I was just like, no, I'm comfortable here. I want to stay. So when I was in Phoenix, my sister had already moved out here, and she asked me to move out here with her, and I told her no. I originally was like, no, I don't. Why California? I'm not about it. I straight up told her no.
Happy.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like, you know, I was living life in Phoenix. It was good. And oh my gosh, I swear, like 3 weeks after I told my sister no, everything just started failing. Like, I wasn't happy with my living situation. I wasn't happy with work. I just wasn't happy. Like, everything that I told her the reason I was staying wasn't working for me anymore. And so I went through that trial and tribulation, and then she asked again, and I was like, yeah, okay. I'm just like, I get it. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. So
she was already out here by the time she asked you again?
Yeah. And so I was just like, sure. So I packed up and I moved out here. So yeah, but if I would have listened to that initial gut feeling when my sister asked me, because everything happens for a reason. So I learned my lesson by saying no. But if I would have just said yes the first time, it would have been a lot of...
You've avoided a lot of suffering, so to speak.
Yes, just being hard-headed. I get it.
Interesting. What do you feel like? Do you feel like you had to go through that pain first to then go, okay, I need to make this move?
Yes.
Yeah, oftentimes.
Oh yeah. Why move if you're comfortable?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it had to happen. It happened because...
Right. What did that feel like? Like that first, let's just call it your gut feeling. Like, I remember there's been times where I have this feeling or like this like sense of, oh, maybe it's like this voice inside of me, like maybe I should do that, or maybe I should do, But what is that like for you? Is it more of a voice, or what is it that you would describe, or at least in that moment, as your gut feeling?
With me, when it's something that I'm supposed to do, everything lines up perfectly, and it doesn't make sense as to why. So when I moved out to Arizona, I did so for a teaching position through Teach for America, and my parents had reservations because they're like, you can teach here. Why do you have to move 1,000 miles to be a teacher? And I was just like, I can't explain it, but everything works. I'm like, as soon as I graduate college, I have time where I can get myself situated, research the opportunity, research living arrangements, and it just worked out. And as we were talking earlier, my roommate in Phoenix was from Oklahoma. Okay. Went to the same university that I went to. She just so happened to have a job out in Arizona with Yelp, and she had been looking for a roommate, and it wasn't even me, a mutual friend told her that I was about to move down, and so we link up, and then she tells me she's been looking for a roommate, and then we become roommates, and just so much was revealed to both of us that was reassurance that we were supposed to live together for the time that we lived together, and it just didn't make sense, but worked extremely well. So I can't explain it, but my gut feeling more so is just the unexplainable happening extremely easy. So if I wasn't so hard-headed, if I just listened the first time, everything would work itself out and I'd be good. But I'm
Yeah. Would you say any of that was fear? of something? Were you afraid of
When
something?
moving out here?
That first time that when you didn't listen to your gut?
No, it was the particular situation, my sister asking me to move with her. And my sister and I are 11 years apart. So she has been my second mom, and she feels like she can run me, and she's going to watch this podcast and she's going to tell me about this part. but just, I've lived with my sister before. I had one when I was younger because she's so much older than me. She was an adult when I was still a teenager. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. It'd be great. Live with my sister. No, why?
Right,
So,
right.
I've been there, done that. I'm not trying to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're both adults and you want me to live with you? I'm just like,
nah.
But yeah, now I'm living with my sister.
See?
I'm here. But yeah, so to answer your question, not fear, just like been there, done that. And I'm just like, we tried it already. I did not like it, but us actually both being adults, we're just on this same wavelength where it's like, okay, I respect you, you respect me, you pay me my rent, I don't talk to you. Okay, great. It's wonderful. This works. So yeah, it's much different now than when I was 13 and she was 24.
Because it seemed like you were going back to that, because that's what we tend to do. It's like this is my past.
I don't want to revert. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to live that life.
I know it's California, but that's a piece of Oklahoma that I'm going back to. Yeah, you already know how I
feel. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, just whole gut feeling, it took me up until I was 28 to get to the point where I trusted that feeling that comes when it's time to make a certain decision or to do something. And if I look back, what I've noticed is these feelings, this knowing that comes up, it's usually correct. Yeah. It's usually what we should have done the first time.
Right. Ain't that a truth?
But for some reason, I was resisting it in the past. Actually, the reason I would say looking back would be fear. It's like I'm scared of something. There's some sort of outcome that I think is going to happen that I don't want to happen, so I'm not going to take that risk. Either I'm not going to be good at it or someone is going to be mad at me. Actually, you know what? I think it was more so of having to do with someone being upset at the decision that I make. For me personally.
I got you.
So I'd always been afraid to do something, even though someone might not be okay with it.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So it was the opposite for me. Like I shared with you, my parents were like, don't leave. And I was like, goodbye. Like, it's just like, I love you. Like, it's not you. It's Oklahoma. Like my parents, every conversation I have with my dad at the end of the phone call, it's like, okay, so when are you moving back? And I was like, you know the answer. So yeah, not necessarily.
They want you back.
Yeah. And I get it. And I love my parents to death, but I'm just like, you've done your job as parents where I feel that I can be sustainable and live on my own / with my sister away from you and be okay. Like that, I feel is the role of a parent. You do so much and it's like, okay, now I need to put what I've practiced into play. So this is my child. This is what I've instilled in you. This is what I've told her to do now that I'm not around her and I'm not hovering, I guess, or being able to monitor what she's doing. Will she still do what she was taught? So my parents would be, happy to know that I'm good and I'm safe in California.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And through all this, like I know you've had challenges having to move out here, having to, get in with your role in leadership and even your job, like even with what you're doing. What are some of the challenges the biggest challenge you faced, let's say in the last year, being a young 20-something young woman, young Black woman in Southern California, and you're not from here?
No. No.
What's been a big challenge that you've been facing?
The biggest challenge that I've faced, and it's really come to head like in these past few months, is not really feeling like I'm on the correct path of success. And so, as shared or as recently stated with you, I did teach for America for 2 years in Arizona, and that was to buy me time. So I was like, I'm not really sure what I want to do with my life. So I have this bachelor's degree in human development because I love working with children, but I don't know what I want to do with that. So did teach for America, not only to buy me time, but to teach in the school that I was in and see the discrepancies between socioeconomic status and all of that. So definitely learned a lot within those 2 years, but it bought me time. So I'm like, okay, so I can be a teacher for 2 years while I'm still figuring out what I want to do. And so moving out here, still not really knowing what I wanted to do, I applied for a fellowship opportunity through AmeriCorps, through CalServe, so Volunteer Infrastructure Program Fellow. And what that basically is going into a nonprofit and creating sustainable systems for their volunteers. So getting and recruiting volunteers and then ensuring that it's a sustainable program. So I was like, okay, great. Did that for a year in Orange County through Big Brothers Big Sisters, but it was temporary. And so I'm like, once that 11 months was up, I did it again. So I'm currently doing it through the Inland Empire United Way with a nonprofit called Promise Scholars. And again, it's buying me time. But I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? And so for the longest time, I thought it was to go to school to obtain my master's degree in public administration. Sounds real good. More education. I loved college. Just adding knowledge to my tool belt will definitely be a plus, right? But I didn't know what I wanted to do with my master's degree. And speaking to individuals who've gone into a master's program or decided not to because they didn't know what they do with it, I realized that I really need to figure out what I want to do career-wise before I make my next move. And that has been difficult because I'm 25, so I know that's not old, but that's old enough where I feel I should be already established in a career, and I've done temporary programs up until this point.
Okay.
So now I decided against my master's degree at the moment because the career field that I want to go into, which is nonprofit work, the master's degree is basically for individuals, of course, who want to further their education, but more of the CEO level type positions. And I'm just like, I don't want to be that high up. I still want to work with the kids and I still want to be on the ground working. So I feel the next step would be to actually go into a career in nonprofit and just work my way up the ladder. And then if the master's degree is necessary, go about it.
You can do that, yeah.
But yeah, so
I ain't trying you to take out no loans. Because you have to take out loans, right?
I would have to, yes, no, yeah.
Good
I don't
Lord.
have that in pocket.
Yeah,
no.
You know, we live, okay, it's a time where I think it's becoming more apparent that although getting an education is really good, there's a lot of careers where getting an advanced degree, like master's, doctorate, you gotta really, there needs to be a track, like a track to follow. Otherwise, you're just taking out these loans. Yeah. You know, you got all these loans. So it's interesting. You know, my parents, I would say my mom actually, my dad is super supportive of everything I'm doing right now. But my mom still wants me, she still wants to be, she wants to say that her son is a doctor, for example. So at this point, she's like, just do your doctorate in nursing. I'm like,
do your doctorate in nursing.
For what? You know what I mean? For what?
Funny.
So we're just it's a situation where, listen, you're taking out these loans. It's not what it used to be. And even though I might get paid more, for me, I look at it this way. People ask me this all the time. Val, how come you're not going further in your education in nursing? Why aren't you going further? That's because that's not my path. You know, nursing is amazing. And for me, it's cash. It's great. great way for me to make a really, really good income to support everything I want to do.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to do that
Mm-hmm.
and achieve that, have that in place so that
Mhm.
now you could do some more things that you want to do.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't mean you have to keep climbing up the ladder in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So I say this, why is because, yeah, I'm glad that it's cool that I'm hearing that you're saying, nah, I'm gonna cool off on this master's thing. This is actually what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're making sure that if I do it,
Mm-hmm.
it's only because it's necessary.
Necessary, extremely necessary. Yes, because I was
Yeah.
so comfortable in college. Like I graduated in 3.5 years. Like I really loved learning, and I loved what I was doing once I figured out what I wanted to do. So I think my initial major was economics. So it
Where'd you go for
sounded
undergrad?
good. Oklahoma State University.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
you mentioned
State
that,
and
yeah.
state, yeah. But yeah, I just really like school. I just love the idea of school. But as you said, like who wants to be in debt all their life,
Yeah.
especially when it's not even necessary? Like if I can do what I love, work with kids, and have income that supports my lifestyle, exactly what you just stated, and I can do other things without a master's degree, then why get a master's degree? But anyone out there who wants a master's degree, do it. If it's for you and it's necessary. Let's not turn people away from there. Like, no.
I'm just saying. Shit. It's all here. It's all in the face right now. My facial expression right now. So, but no, I get it. Look, I'm not anybody's mom or dad or nothing, but I just see the way I see the world. All I got to say is, listen, you got to make sure this degree is leading you to exactly what you want, because if it ain't, you just booking loans. I mean, to me, you have to really think about that. You know,
You do.
I tell people.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. But that could be an entirely different conversation.
It could be.
Yeah, that could be an entirely different conversation. But that's good. I know, you're in your mid-20s and it's rough. You got some decisions to make. I mean, don't we all? We got some decisions to make.
Yes.
Right. So this is really cool. So we're gonna close this out because this has been great. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Today. I want to ask, how do we find you? And then, of course, the Urban League online.
Yes. So the Los Angeles Urban League Young Professionals, we have a website. It's LAULYP.com.
Okay.
There you can learn more information about our organization, how to become involved, sign up for our newsletter, and see what we're doing. It's great. It's wonderful. On social media, we are LAULYP on Instagram as well as on Facebook. So definitely follow us, support us, join us in any of our general body meetings. They're every third Thursday from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. at the Chase building off of Crenshaw, 4401 Crenshaw Boulevard. Is that
Crenshaw and what? 43rd or 42nd? One of those streets.
You know, I just map
You just
quest
moved
every-
there?
I oh my gosh! But it's a lot of construction. It's right by Lamert Park. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So yes, so that's how to find us. And then me, Danielle King on Facebook. You can email me at president@LAULYP.com. My IG page. It's just a slight flex. I'm not on there often. But it's King__Danielle. And then my LinkedIn, of course, Danielle King. I believe that's it.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Not have much. But
That's
yeah,
good.
definitely find and follow LAULYP. We're a great group.
That's good. So just so you guys know, like, we make show notes for this. So if you watched up to this point, good job. You listening up to this point. Check out the show notes because we got links on there. You might even have a question for her or relate to what she's had to share. Okay, so don't hesitate. You know what I'm saying? Don't hesitate. So in closing, I want to ask of you something.
Okay.
Just a parting piece of advice. We have people all over the world who listen to the podcast. So just a parting piece of advice as we close this out. First thing that comes to your mind.
Me and my 25 years, my parting advice would be, again, what we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If it feels right, do it. If it's legal and it feels right, do it. And it's going to better you. If what you want and where you're at, the only thing stopping you is you, then figure it out and do it. So my favorite quote from Tracy Ellis Ross, I don't know if she originally said it, but it's her who I heard it from, is let the space between where I am and where I want to be inspire me. So don't let that space of not knowing scare you or comfortability keep you stagnant. Just do it. Hashtag Nike. That's all I can say. Like, just, do you and be great. All 2019.
Well done. Well done. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done.